there we go.
All right, I believe this is a landmark to actually have the audio and the video streamlined from the outset. Thankfully, Tristan did get the AA batteries that I emailed to Ecuador. He was able to put them into his dial-up. So I think the internet will work, and maybe we can do a live stream. What's up, dude?
Senor Dyer, how are you, my friend?
Hey, bro, I'm doing good, but I'm barely able to do much of anything because I've been super sick, dude. I got the Super Mario flu. I don't know if you know him, but my buddy Mario, he gave me the flu, bro.
Oh man, that sucks, Holmes. That's terrible, eh? Is it even? Are we working? Are we on?
Hey, bro, we're freaking live, dude.
Oh shoot, man.
We're
Let me put
barely
my
live,
hind
bro. Barely live.
nice. Barely even.
Dude, I had a friend one time. His name was Mario. He got AIDS and shit, and then he got the flu, and then AIDS went away, bro.
Yes.
Mexican dudes are always telling crazy stories like that, like crazy, like stuff that doesn't make sense. Like,
All their friends are named Mario. Is that what's up?
yeah. Well, the only Mexican dude I knew in California, he was named Mario. So
You know one Mexican dude, and you think it's okay to just generalize
he
about
was the
everybody
only Mexican
in
dude in
America?
California, as I understand.
Because my children are Ecuadorian. They were born in
Is that
Ecuador,
Mexico?
and
Is that a part of
I
Mexico?
mean to people like you, probably to
That's like the
freaking
South,
white devils like you.
that's the South burrito tip of Mexico, right? That's what they call it, the burrito tip.
I mean, if you want to be kind of racist like that, I
No, we
think
don't do
that's.
that here. Whoa, whoa, we don't do that here.
I mean, it's probably not the nicest thing to say to somebody who has mental health, but fine.
Okay. Well, we're gonna heal you tonight. We're gonna put our hands on the screen, Pat Robertson style, and we're gonna heal your mental healths. Tristan, thank you for coming back, man. I missed you. I know you took a year off. You complained that the audio problems were pretty severe on my channel. I know that that's something that you've dissed and negged me for a long time, not being able to fix all the problems. But one thing you said that I was farting all the time on the streams. So basically, Tristan, in his mind, my live streams are nothing but long farts. But I've realized that Tristan this whole time thought this was an ASMR channel, and so he had those giant like Bose headphones that he thought that this was some sort of erotic ASMR channel, and so he was really listening for all of these weird sounds. And it's not that, man. It's just a YouTube channel, dude. We're not into that sick stuff.
Sorry, I was just when you talk, I kind of just tune out a little bit
I see.
until I
So
can talk and
recycling
listen
the
to
jokes
myself.
from a year ago. Gotcha. Okay.
I'm just, I mean, I can't really see
Recycling.
you either. I actually I have one window pulled up with the stream, and it's my
Mm.
face, and I like to pull that over your face,
Oh,
and kind of, and then I auto mute
right.
you when you speak.
Well, actually, I'm toying with this to make your face really tiny, so then people won't hopefully be able to see you. Let's see if I can make you really small, and then we should be good to go. So,
Well, I mean, next to your massive ego and your massive head,
mm.
we all look pretty tiny, to be
You're
honest.
basically hiding behind a palm tree. So you need to come out of your closet, and let's get into it. Look, we can't just diss each other the whole stream. I know
Why?
that would fulfill you. I know that that's pretty much what you live for. Why did you not stream for a year? Where you been at? What happened?
I told you, dude, I had mental health.
You get
I
your feelings
mean,
hurt?
yeah, I had mental health
Okay.
health's
Mental health
yeah,
is okay. Well,
dude. I mean, I have anxiety. Does that
you give me
is that okay with
anxiety.
you?
Yeah, you exude it. I believe you.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk
Are we?
about
Is this over?
do you want to talk about the issues of the day, or you just want to do cut downs all night?
Yeah. No. I mean, well, this is our show. What? Like, I'm contractually obliged to do this. Um, I was thinking the first order of business is we should establish like a hierarchy, like here between you and
Hmm.
I.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I know that you want things in writing or whatever, but the Bible says let your yes be yes and your no be no. So I'm pretty much going to follow the Bible. I mean, you can be some sort of weird legalistic bean counter if you want, but That's not how
All
I
right, well,
roll.
maybe we should discuss like a title for the show. I was thinking we could call it the Tristan Haggard Show, featuring secondarily and less importantly Jay Dyer.
Mm-hmm. But then the problem is that you will get your feelings hurt and retire for another year, and then I have to beg you to come back. So, will I just be hosting the Tristan Show for the year that you're gone again when your feelings are hurt, or what? I mean, is it
Well,
going
I
to be
heard it was
called the
my name a
Tristan
few
Show when
times
you're
and a
not
bunch of
here?
warbles. I heard a bunch of warbles in my name a couple
So
times.
it's going to be called the Tristan Show, and you're not here for a year. By the way, guys, I am splitting the super chats with beautiful Tristana, the internet's second best rapper after myself. I know we had a lot of rap battle talk. I actually released like 10 songs. You released somewhere in the quadrant of, I think, 0 songs. So pretty sure you got about 10 songs to catch up to.
First of all, like I'm an indie rapper. I mean, I
Mm.
know we've got mainstream Jay over here, but I'm more
Meaning
like
you only
indie.
rap about Indiana Jones? Is that what an indie rapper is? That's some kind of
No,
weird,
dude, I'm like
weird
indie.
thing
Like
you're
I'm
into.
like, all right, dude.
You only rap about
I told you
Indiana.
I had mental health, and you're over here making fun of part of my mental health. And you knew that my mental health is the indie thing,
Okay.
the thing about indie Jones, and you said it in front of everybody, and they're not supposed to know. Why are you saying this in front of people?
I can't help but be mean. What do you expect from me? I'm the meanest man on the internet.
Yeah, that should be I'm not trying to be mean. Will
I'm
be the
not
name
trying to
of
be mean.
the
Right.
show. I'm not trying to be
By the
mean.
way, we already have super chats. I'm splitting those super chats with Tristana. The super chats I've learned actually bring him back to the internet. So if you guys do want this second-rate rapper to come back, he will, but it costs money. So thank you guys for that. You even have another Haggard.
You keep saying the second greatest rapper.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems
No,
like
second-rate rapper. You must have misheard. Second-rate rapper. Not
second-rate rapper. I mean,
second greatest, second ratest.
I mean,
the second ratest rapper.
Producing straight up bangers in my head, and just like, and I got written stuff. I've got freestyle stuff. I got a lot of stuff, man. I mean, I don't know what you're
Bangers
saying.
and
You think you're a
mash in
better
your
rapper?
head. More like bangers and mash in your head. Ain't no rapper. Ain't no bangers in your head.
Bangers? What is that? Is that
Bangers
some sort
and
of
mash.
like racist term that you use for Latin American people like myself?
I bring out genius jokes, and of course, he just doesn't know what they are on purpose. He purposely doesn't know any of my references. We got a nice 329.
Are you gonna let me rap? Or are you gonna read
Go
some
for it.
freaking insignificant nobody's super chat that they
The
just send?
microphone is yours.
All right. Well, like I could do something off the top of my head, or I could do something.
Are you there? Don't freeze on me, bro. He froze. Guys, he's embarrassed. He's nervous. He froze. What do we do? It's probably just collab cam. Sometimes collab cam. He was talking up his internet. I'm skeptical that he's my internet's so freaking fast, dude. I could download 2 MP3s at once on LimeWire. That's what he said. Oh, that's how fast my internet is. Got a lot of pay piggies paying up. And we lost Tristan. That's right. We'll bring him right back. Just sign back in. Sign back in. We had this problem a couple times with Jim Bob and third world Panamanian dictatorships or wherever the hell you live, down in Nicaragua, down there with Manuel Noriega. Tristan's over there leeching off of Manuel Noriega's Wi-Fi. he's putting in the Wi-Fi password because he watched Manuel Noriega signing in the other night, and it was the password was cocaine. Get it? Because of Manuel Noriega. So, so we had a few drops. Remember when we had Jim Bob on with Collab Cam? Collab Cam's pretty good so far, but every now and then we'll have people drop out. But thank you guys for those super chats. Everybody's happy to see Tristan back in the captain's seat on his show. Over here, he's in the co-captain seat. Right. So basically, I'm the skipper, and you got over here Gilligan. So that's how that works. Where you at, bro? See, I don't think it's my internet. Maybe did he rage quit? Did I actually? I always feel like we're having good, wholesome fun. And then, but I never know when people are like, maybe I just totally ran Tristan off. I'm messaging him on Skype. Hey, did I make you rage quit? I want him to tell us about DINKs. He did say that Noriega was rolling out the blackouts down there. So maybe Noriega has to turn off the electricity every now and then. I don't know, but hey, dude, did I make you rage quit? Come back on. We actually do like you, sort of. Do not get your feelings hurt. It says he has internet in Nicaragua, but I don't see his face. So maybe this is actually the ideal stream with Tristan, where we say Tristan's here, but he's not actually here. That's probably the best way to have the stream with Tristan. And then we just donate half of the super chats to him out of charity. Maybe that's actually the best way for this to go down. By the way, remember to use the promo code J50 at chalk.com. Do not use whatever scam promo codes that Tristan tries to invade my stream with, right? Welcome. We're gonna do this. Here he is.
Freestyle.
He's back.
About to drop the sickest freestyle, and then I just get booted from the screen.
It's okay. We know you rage quit. I made a Manuel Noriega joke and you rage quit, so I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me.
I actually missed the Manuel Noriega joke, unfortunately.
Well, you were leeching off his Wi-Fi is the problem. So
yeah,
and
he made a hot spot for me.
Yeah, exactly. So remember, guys, the promo code is not whatever Tristan says tonight. That will basically drain all of your crypto wallets if you use Tristan's promo code.
Nice. We just what were you doing without me? You're probably super bored, right? Probably super sad.
No, we actually started having fun. so I guess I was actually arguing that actually the best way to have a stream with Tristan is for you to not be here, and then we could just donate the money to charity later on. So, but if you want to be here, we could roll with that too, I guess. So let's get into it.
Jay sent me a message in Skype. He said, what did he say? He said, come back on. We actually do like you, sorta.
Yes.
What does that even mean?
Well, because I thought you rage quit. We all thought we never know what's sensitive.
You kicked me out like as soon as. No, actually, my electricity actually went out. The whole town's electricity went out for a minute.
I told everybody Noriega's over there flipping the switch because you're down in Nicaragua or wherever you at.
Or maybe like whoever your freaking record label, whoever got you that blue check mark on your YouTube channel, like. I don't know how you got that blue check mark, dude, but I remember for a long time when I had the blue check and you didn't, and now you think, I think that's what it is. That's why the dynamic is shifted. It's like you have this subconscious thing that you think you're better than me now because you have this blue check mark. How'd you get that?
I won't say what I had to do, but it did involve strange, unspeakable acts that some refer to as DINK. So
yeah, I knew you had to do a bunch of DINK. You know, that's what they did. You made TikTok DINK videos, and your record label is holding that over you for the rest of the year.
For those that don't know, Tristan and I were talking about how, and when I was listening to his stream, I had the exact same thought that he did. Actually, I had the thought before he did, and then he probably took it from my mind that the word DINK definitely sounds like some kind of degenerate act, and so it's everywhere, and I didn't even know what it was. Tristan did a stream on it. I heard Tim Cass talking about DINKs. Tristan, let's get a little serious here. What is DINK? I just learned it like 2 days ago. You did a great stream, by the way. Props to your return, your comeback. It's kind of like a Cher comeback. I'm likening it to Cher making a comeback to doing whatever she does. You kind of do whatever you do. Very Cher-esque. So
I pretty much, I modeled my whole personality after her, so I appreciate that.
Well, and Chaz Bono as well, right? Would you say you're more like Cher or more like Chaz?
The location, like Chaz, the autonomous zone in Portland.
No, that's called Chop.
No, it was Chaz.
Chaz Bono, dude.
I mean, Chaz is in our hearts still.
Chaz Bono's in your heart. So, tell
Chaz
us
Bono. I
about
mean,
dinks.
that sounds like some dink stuff right there, dude. Chaz Bono. I don't know who these people are. No, but the dinks are dual income, no kids. So basically, it's I think this came probably from some like tax term, like a legal term, in the 80s and 90s for accountants, governments, and even Madison Avenue to classify types of people and their spending habits. Right, but there was this thing the last year or so with the dinks actually doing. There's a I don't know if everybody hears my echo, but I do hear it through your mic. Sorry. Um, the all right, that's better. So yeah, I think this came from like Madison Avenue kind of marketing stuff. To me, it makes sense. Like they've classified this type of people. Well, they're dual income people with no kids. So these are going to be, the prime target for marketing. These are the people who spend the most money on the stupidest stuff. They'll also be kind of the stupidest types of people and the most easily influenced people because they're going to be constantly chasing, this delusion of happiness that everybody is consistently marketed in kind of American pop culture. So I think that's kind of my theory. I don't really know the history of the term dink. I think they started using it in the 90s, but I'm pretty sure it was a purely economic term at first, but now it's becoming kind of a trend. Now I'm not sure how many people are saying that there's a lot of TikTok posts from the dinks, and they make these videos where they're like, they're walking down the street. I'm a dink, and I get to spend my money on myself, and I'm a dink, and I don't have to worry about waking up late in the morning. I'm a dink, and I get to smoke weed first thing when I wake up, like whatever kind of hedonistic self worship lifestyle stuff these people are into. The dinks be talking about it, and I think. I don't know, man. Like, you have TikTok, right? Have you heard of this thing? The kids call it TikTok. It's like some sort of a clock application on their telephone.
It's a Chinese mind virus.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm
No,
familiar with it.
I know. I saw your tweet. You said you called it like a godforsaken app or something like that.
Well,
That
I
you'll
made
never
the
go on
mistake
again.
of doing open forum live stream debates on TikTok. And if you want to know, so people think the world of YouTube comments are bad. You think Twitter debates are bad. Nothing is worse than the debates that you would have in the world of TikTok. So it actually probably contributed to me wanting to retire from ever debating ever again. So it's pretty bad. I have a question though. I want to give you props because, first of all, you did actually, in a way, save my guts. And I mean literally, you saved my guts. I remember 4 or 5 years
It means
ago.
like I threatened to shoot him in the stomach, and then I didn't. Is what he's saying.
No, I
I
mean
saved his
that my
guts.
guts were all effed up, and you recommended a diet that literally saved my guts. So thank you so much for that. And I was thinking, 4 or 5 years ago, when I first started hearing you on my, my podcast feed and listening to your talks and watching your interviews, and you were talking about the vegan diet. You were talking about the social engineering towards, not having kids, antinatalism. They were going to push this, no meat, no dairy, no cattle. I mean, you were way ahead of everybody else. So I just want to give you props on that. But another thing you were highlighting even back then, beyond just the crazy cult people, which Tristan and I are going to do another episode this next week. We're hoping to do a weekly show. And we're going to catch up with some of our classic cult friends that Tristan introduced us to. Your boy, the Nature Boy, all of those
Peace
kooks.
reflections.
But my question is, do you remember also the pattern of influencer couples? And you highlighted this with all those vegan goobers that you would analyze. And now we have DINK couple influencers. And they're telling us how awesome it is to be dual income, no kid families. And I can't but think this is being pushed through social media on purpose. And you're absolutely right to highlight TikTok. And it's just the newest, it's the latest fad of, the trend that the social media is pushing to destroy the West, basically. Do you agree with that?
Totally, man. Yeah, I mean, I remember the streams that you and I did. Like, was it 2017? When did you and I start doing
I
streams?
think the first
I
one
can't
was
believe
the
it's been
first one
that
was
long.
2017. Yeah.
That's crazy. So I was 15 years old then. I'm 22
Right.
now.
Right.
Clearly.
Mentally,
no, I mean that's just nuts,
yes.
dude. I told you I have mental health.
Developmentally, as I understand, you just hit puberty, right?
I mean, you're gonna
Biologically,
bring it. So you're making fun of me because I have mental health.
you do have the mental healths, yes.
Well, I feel like you're giving me more mental health when you say stuff
No,
like that.
this
But that's
is no. We're here to help you. Go ahead.
just take a deep breath for my mental health. So yeah, no, you and I were talking about we did a stream about like soy millennials and transhumanism, and you and I had a lot of really fun streams back in the day, which is part of why, when you proposition, you're like, hey, let's do some streams, man, let's do like a weekly show or something. I was like, yeah, of course, and this is some of my audience's favorite streams, the ones we've done together, and obviously, I'm the best thing to ever happen to you. So clearly it's necessary. But yeah, dude, some of those old streams you and I did, all of that stuff is now kind of becoming mainstream, right? Like, I mean, you got to go, you were on Tucker, not that, I mean, before he kind of got canceled. You were
I
the one
was
who
the
broke,
last episode of Tucker before you got
you
canceled.
broke you were the straw that broke the camel's back. You
I
were
did.
the 1,000-pound uranium straw that broke that camel's back. And but that was an episode talking about the food
Yes.
conspiracy stuff, right? Like you and I have been pointing this out for years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Initially,
think
they
it's
said that they wanted you, and I said probably not a good idea. So I basically talked them into not utilizing
yeah.
you and using me, and it
You're
worked
like, well,
out. It
this
worked
guy's
out
got
great. Everything worked out great
yeah.
for me. I know that you basically retired, so
You told them that you're
Win-win.
like, look, Tristan can't do this because he has the mental health right now. He has the mental health.
Actually, the true story is
And they were like, whoa, I didn't realize he had mental health.
Well, I did actually recommend you. I said, actually, Tristan would be better for this. This is his forte. He knows this a lot better than me. And the only concern was that, well, he's down in Ecuador. So basically, it's not really feasible because at that time, the Tucker originals, I mean, they weren't putting like a tremendous amount of budget into the individual episodes. So, basically Scooter had a limit.
I mean, that was a pretty nice bald cap. They got that bald cap.
That was I made that joke to Scooter. I was like, wouldn't it be funny if I had like a bald cap and was running around in the Austin Park or Nashville interviewing people as Klaus? And then he actually went and bought the costume. I didn't think he would do it. We were just joking, but I've learned with Scooter, if you make jokes, he'll like actually just do it, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so I mean. But you've also
yeah, dude, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate.
I really did tell them that they should talk to you.
It's been so long of talking about these things, and it's crazy to see this go mainstream now.
Everywhere.
And like,
yes,
everyone's talking about the bugs stuff, eat the bugs, and the getting rid of meat. So yeah, man, it's cool to be right. It sucks to be right, kind of, in some ways.
You were even ahead of Klaus. You were saying
it's true, man. We were memeing Klaus back in the day.
Well, no. I'm saying you were ahead of Klaus when you were talking about that they were going to push the no meat stuff, and you probably even talked about eating bugs and crickets, and that was even before the Klaus meme, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, yeah, but we were talking about, you and I were talking about Klaus in the World Economic Forum before. I mean, 2020 brought a lot of this stuff to the forefront, right? So there's been kind of a big shift. A lot of people are talking about it. So, which is, it's good, but it's also kind of like, I don't know, sometimes it does get, it's kind of just like, yeah, freaking talking about this for 10, 15 years, like why, how is this surprising to people? So in some ways, I don't want to get like jaded about all this stuff because it is really serious stuff that's happening. You and I, it's nice to be able to make fun of it, poke fun at it. And sometimes that's just a way to like deal with the seriousness of what's really going on. Right. It's like, I'm, you make fun of mental health because of the seriousness of me having the mental health. So it's like that time you break the ice with it. So I think,
how when you took a mental health day, it ended up being a year. I like how you did that, how you played that. Well played, sir.
Yeah, time is relative, bro.
Yeah,
well, I was doing edits. I did make some fire edits the last year, and I've been on Instagram. I'm up on certain platforms. Just haven't been on the YouTube live streams.
Yeah.
But Jay actually helped to beckon me back, and he's been telling me for like, he's always telling me like, dude, do some live streams. I'm sick of not watching your live streams. I miss your live streams.
Yeah, it's one of the few shows that I listen to. So basically, there's a small roster. You're in there. Alex Jones is in there. So elite company that you're in. But I'm
elite.
So these these couples. It reminds me of the Alvin Toffler Stanford research stuff, where he was writing in the late 70s as one of the global elites. He was saying that we're going to push alternative lifestyles, and that could be any kind of lifestyle except the healthy lifestyle where you actually pair bond and you actually have offspring. And again, that's something you were calling attention to. You would agree, I think, that the social engineers, the global elite, they actually strategize and push these trends for a purpose. It's not just fads. It's not just random stuff. This is what it's so hard to convey to people, is that all the stuff that rolls out, all these different fads of, remember a couple of years ago, it was van living, tiny living, and that, but the Gen Z are actually still doing this. I was at a restaurant and the waitress was talking about how my boyfriend and I, we're like selling our place and we're just going to get a little van and we're just going to drive everywhere. Like, why do we even need a place? Like, we should just drive everywhere. And I'm like, yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun for 1 year when you're 20. And then it's not going to be so much fun anymore.
Yeah, anything to make you rootless, right? Like, you actually owning a home, actually having a traditional marriage, right? Because it's like, even in the secular sense, I think it's so strange when people who are like atheists get married. Did you see that clip that I sent you on Instagram? I wonder, are you able to pull up Instagram like in a shared window here? Because
I don't think so. I could probably find the clip. I could probably find it, but let me see if I can try to find what you sent me. Go ahead.
Well, I sent this clip, and it was so there's this woman who made a video about her and her partner moving in with her ex-husband so that they can co-parent their 3 children. Right? So it's like this kind of hipster. They look very wealthy. Like, these people have these big, beautiful homes. I don't know. It seems like generational wealth kind of a thing. This hippie couple, and this chick has like big fake tatas and these, ugly, like the hipster tattoos where it just looks like temporary tattoo. Yes, this one. That video, I could even screen share through my video, but there it's the wedding ceremony of this couple. It's the divorced woman filming her ex-husband getting married to a new woman, I think. And anyways, it was just like the quintessential millennial lost. Like, I totally have mental health and I need to do self-care. I'm gonna go do my equine horse riding therapy type. These people who like, I just went to Joshua Tree with the shaman for a week. It was really cool. I blacked out for most of it, to be honest. And, but like, I'm pretty sure that, I'm pretty sure that all the bruises on me and like the various scratch marks, those are probably just like something to do with the lunar cycle or like my astrology or whatever. But it's, the type of people who are going to have a wedding like this. These people had a wedding, and there's a secular like fake priest.
I got the clip ready when you're ready.
Dude, all right, pull it up. I don't want to describe this. I'll ruin it.
All right, here we go. I'm going to play it.
By the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Evan, give me a second to get out of the way, and then go ahead and get on in there.
This is it.
And finally, the moment that we've all been waiting for.
Screen share it so they can see it, because it's visually.
By the power vested in me.
I don't know if you can screen
by
share.
The Church of the.
By the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. I thought we were sharing, so I guess when you came back in, I didn't.
Oh, you know what? They could see it, but I couldn't.
There we go.
I pulled up the screen.
Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay, ready?
Flying Spaghetti Monster. I now pronounce you husband and wife. Evan, give me a second to get out of the way, and then go ahead and get on it.
He's wearing Nike dunks. He's got like, so some like, I don't know if that was a weird sex joke or something. I didn't really understand it.
Church the Flying Spaghetti Monster, bro.
Yeah. If you're like a degenerate Calabasas hippie, I guess you would understand whatever joke he made at the end there too. But it's, I mean, there's such irreverence. Like how, so this person's already apparently divorced, because the way I found her page was, it was a video that was floating around Twitter, and this depressed woman is talking about how, oh, it's like got the music, that piano music that's on every single like millennial woman's, I'm so
Right.
depressed, but I'm gonna be ironic about my depression. It's like, it was like that kind of edit. Like, I hate my life, but I'm gonna act like I love it. And also, when my husband sees this, he's gonna know that I'm taking jabs at him, but also I'm gonna pretend like it's kind of happy. It was like this weird edit. And it's like, me and my partner moved in with my ex-husband so we can co-parent our 3 children in the same house. We knew that it would be difficult, and it's been really hard on my mental health, but it's like them setting up their room and everything. But anyways, this is her, ex-husband getting remarried, and I think she's like filming it and putting it online. It's just the weirdest thing. But why even get married? Right? You're wearing freaking Nike Dunks and you got your stupid ass dread dookie nubs tied up behind your head, and you're just gonna get divorced in a few months when, well, that's a proper man knot. That's a tactical
No, I
tie back.
legit have like a cult leader ponytail. Like I just bypass all that shit and just go for straight up like psychotic cult leader. Like all the man buns and the dreads. No, dude, I'm not a sensitive new age man. I'm not a snam or a snag, a sensitive new age guy. I'm just straight up psycho cult leader with a ponytail, like Jim Bob says.
Okay, I like that. There we go.
Just to the point, bro. It's just
lean into it. Just straight up leaning into it. So, like, what's the point, dude? Like, if you're gonna get married, you don't believe in God. What is marriage?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, from the Orthodox perspective, marriage is in the church. It's a union that is actually in the context of the liturgy that an Orthodox wedding takes place, and it's a sacred bond in which we're united to both Christ and to our loved one, right? So what is a secular marriage, and what's the point? I don't understand.
Yeah, this is a great point that I think Dr. Jason Lyle made this argument one time, where he pointed out that if you don't believe in Genesis, there really isn't any other reason to get married. I mean, even legally, there's not even much of a point to it, unless you're like a chick marrying A-list guy and you're going to get half of his money. Like then it makes sense to have a legally binding contract, right? But marriage is a religious thing, and if God doesn't exist, you don't believe in Genesis, you don't believe in anything. I mean, why do you even do it? I don't get it, because not really any benefits other than some sort of like just symbolic thing that girls want to have and look forward to so they could be bridezillas or whatever.
Yeah, and like men too. Or what's the point? I think maybe it does kind of just point to the fact that you can't destroy, like, it's literally human nature to seek marriage, right? Like to leave the mother and cling to the wife, and as the scriptures say, it's like it's literally it's a sacred bond, and you can't even destroy that. Like the Bolsheviks, one of the first things that the Bolsheviks did when they came into power and they abolished, it began the kind of process of trying to get rid of the church. It wasn't completely abolished, but it was highly suppressed. They made marriage secular, and they made it very easy and quick for people to just go to a notary and get a divorce. And this was a tool for the destruction of families and the culture in general, and an attack on the church. And they had this, and I've done a lot of streams on the Bolshevik sexual revolution, talked about Kollontai and some of these characters.
I was going to say Alexandra Kollontai. I didn't really know much about her until Rachel talked about her quite a bit, and then when I got John Coleman's book, which is now back in print, his book on the world socialist movement and the New World Order. He's got a whole chapter on Alexandra Kollontai and how she basically destroyed marriage in Russia.
Yeah, I mean, she was a total psycho. And she was a degenerate in so many ways too. So these Bolsheviks who hated Russia. I mean, there's that famous quote from oh my goodness, his name, the Gulag Archipelago. Solzhenitsyn, of, these weren't Russians who took over Russia. These were people who actually hated Russians. So the Bolsheviks, one of their number one goals was to destroy orthodoxy, to destroy the church, and to destroy the hierarchy, right? And this is all in the name of equality and democracy and revolutionary fervor, and we can revolutionize everything. And part of that was a revolutionizing of the family and the wiping away of traditional family roles. So you had these ideas of like poly, and even, you know, the Skittles stuff was happening back then. They're doing parades. But then eventually the Bolsheviks, under the Soviet Union, they had to kind of backtrack because they realized that that the men were being destroyed, right? That these young men, they're growing up with no fathers. They're growing up, you know, they're being raised by who knows who. There's rampant abuse of children and exploitation of children. And the family was absolutely necessary for them to even have useful workers. So they had to backtrack on all the sexual revolution stuff because they realized, like, oh man, we've got all these degenerate thugs in the streets now who have no dads and who have no, you know, there's no authorities in the homes. We need people who will work and be trustworthy. You can't have a trustworthy society that's based on sexual revolution type stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy because it pretty much eventually destroys everything. And what's so hard to get people to understand is that this has been studied and known as a form of warfare. It's a form of siege, but it's a form of cultural siege and warfare. It's not like outright kinetic warfare. It's cultural warfare that is even more subversive and insidious than, you know, straight up warfare, because it destroys in a more subtle, slow kill way, right? Because if you destroy the family, then basically you have just atomized unit individuals. And that's what Brave New World talks about, is that, you know, Huxley says one of the reasons that you can't have families in the Brave New World scenario is that that would mean that the super state, the corporate state, isn't your only allegiance, and you can only have an allegiance to that. You can't have an allegiance to mom and dad or your brothers and sisters. Your only allegiance can be to the super state. And what's the best way to destroy allegiances? Destroy the number one, you know, unit by which people come into the world, the family. And then you've got the super state, the Brave New World state. And again, people, look, if Brave New World, the fiction novel, talked about this in 1932, and it was a known strategy, then it's been known that you could do this for over 100 years. And so I don't understand why, if the most popular fiction books tell you that it's not just people wanting to be degenerates, that it's actually a strategy, it's a technology of revolution, that people can't grasp that this is being done to them and to their society. They, you know, if you were to talk to these people in this, you know, pseudo wedding here, you know, they would be like, oh, whatever, you
wouldn't even hear you. They just be like, look, I'm sorry,
or whatever, bro. Like they wouldn't even register.
No, they wouldn't hear you. They just zoned out, floor-eyed stare, and like, look, like this is making me feel really anxious, and I've been having some mental health lately, and I just really think we should just chill and like let's go drink somewhere. You know, so it's like it can't even register for a lot of people. And you know, you're talking about who was that social engineer you mentioned earlier, Toffler. I never read Toffler, but I did a stream on the Jaffe memo, and you know, kind of talked a little bit about the Rockefeller Population Council report, National Security Study Memorandum 200, and I think I talked about John P. Holdren and Paul Ehrlich in that stream as well. So, and that's not even a stream; that was a short video. And it was a really good video, so you guys can check out the video on the Jaffe memo. But I got it pulled up right here. The universal impact segment of this document, in which they're basically promoting. It was Bernard Berelson and Frederick Jaffe. So these are the Center for Family Planning Program and Development, basically like Planned Parenthood, Planned Parenthood's world population study group, basically. And they're talking about population policies for the US. How can we decrease human population? And they give like this whole graph of these different ways you can do it. One of them is social constraints that have universal impact. And the first thing listed, the first one is restructure family. A, postpone or avoid marriage. B, alter image of ideal family size. And then they go on to talk about compulsory education of children, right, which comes with the augmentation of the family and women going into the workplace. And then encouraging increased skittles, encourage increased homosexuality, educate for family limitation, and then fertility control agents in the water, of course, got to have that, and encourage women to work. And so, like the DINK thing that we were talking about, I mean, it's all of that. It's restructuring the family, postponing or avoiding marriage until those fertility years are closed.
You made a good point that like that had to have been drawn up in some kind of like working group. I mean, it just sounds like here's the term, DINK. It wasn't something. Exactly. A lot of this stuff is not organic, is what I'm trying to say. And the reason I brought up Toffler is that a lot of the elites in their books they've written for a long time, going back to go back to Plato, but Bertrand Russell talked about altering and changing diets to control the population. Charles Galton Darwin has a whole chapter on weaponizing diet and food. But the thing with Toffler is that he is the first that I can think of or that I'm aware of where he actually says that we will tie the new diet and vegetarianism to alternative lifestyles. And so he said maybe what we could do is like maybe there could be the tie-in of being like, I'm an anarchist, bro, and I'm a vegetarian. And so he was literally saying we tie together the social movement of something like anarchism or whatever with vegetarianism, and that becomes a really potent. But he also says all other forms of alternative lifestyles and living. So this was all drawn up by Stanford Research and people like Toffler.
That's a great point, man. That's a great point. Shout out to the stream over there. I was just checking out the chat. You guys make sure to support Jay over here. Remember, I get 99%. I think that's like he gives 99% of the super chats to me. Is the deal. Unless you don't like me, then he gives 1%, whatever. But yeah, guys, make sure to support the stream. Throw them super chats out.
We do have a couple super chats. Let's go. We'll move on out of the DINK thing now that we understand that this is just a weird working group engineered fad hashtag that they want to try to convince people to do. But they're also making it hard for people to have families, right? I mean, the economy is bad on purpose. I mean, Biden is insane. I don't really do, political. What's Biden up to this week? Oh, Biden.
Biden's the real racist.
Biden's the real racist. Biden's ruining the country. It's all Biden's fault. Ugh. I mean, dude can't even like put his diaper on. You know what I mean? Like he wears diapers and he's got other people putting them on. Anyway, I don't do the Biden thing, but like the money printing and the inflation has gone insane under the Biden administration by design, as everything has been just totally nonsense, just getting wrecked.
That's one of the things they talked about in the ecoscience book, right? Is economic ways to socially engineer people to not having kids,
not to have family. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So there's a rationale, as you pointed out in your stream, that some people have to have, two people working to try to have the income. That's by design. They wanted to make sure that you couldn't live on a single income. But they're pushing it as like, we're not going to get everybody to become, T or A and Z. So we'll just push that, just don't have kids, right? Or postpone it. And then, like you said, then it's like gets to the stage where it's hard to do or you can't. So anyway, all by design.
Yeah, it's like they make it look fun too. Right? Look, we get to go. I'm a DINK, and I go to Disneyland 6 times a year, all by myself.
I got the season pass to Disney.
Right. So you have like these 32-year-old freaking dinks hanging out at Disney World. You're walking around at Disney World and you're with your kid and you got to see some freaking dinks dinking off in front of you, walking around in their dink outfits and stuff. You're like, hide, like don't look over there, kids. Freaking dinks in line for the stupid ass Star Wars ride.
So Honeybee sends $50. She's paying for Tristan's AA batteries for his dial up. Shout out to Honeybee. That's going to be split with Tristana. Joy J sends $5. Thank you so much, Joy J. Some person, I forget this guy's name, something Haggard, Chase, I forget, but he says, tell Tristan that the family misses him. We don't know what he means by I'm just being me or just doing me. But the response that he's given is that every time we call him for the last year, he doesn't reply. Dad sent him his rent check and wants to know if he got it. Basically, Chase, I think the answer is that Tristan is finding himself in a very eat, pray, love kind of way. So that's pretty much what's going on, I think. For his mental health.
I mean,
for his mental health.
Yeah, no, first of all, like, thanks, Dad, whatever. I love you, Dad.
Thanks, Dad, or whatever.
Just like, I love you or whatever. And like, thanks for all the money or whatever.
I love you or whatever.
I mean, like, dude, I'm just trying to do me. And I've been having mental health. And then like, you try to hit me up and tell me like, hey, bro, maybe you should like not smoke so much weed. And I'm like, dude, that helps me with my mental health.
This is some Julia Roberts, eat, pray, love shit. That's what I'm talking about.
No, I'm out here discovering,
I support
like,
Tristan's
living my
mental
best
health.
life.
I'm pro Tristan's mental health.
I mean, honestly, the way, if you guys want to talk to me, send super chats, Dad, Mom. That's how you talk to me.
Literally, the only way Tristan replies to his parents is if they send a super chat. Like if a text message comes in, it also has to come with like an Apple payment, right? You're basically like OnlyFansing your family. Like that's they're
yeah, no, but like in all seriousness, Chase, like, look, man, just freaking leave me alone, dude. If you wanna build a relationship, you can use promo code J53Life at chalk.com, and you get 50% off all subscriptions for life with that code J53.
Dude's making his family into a pay piggy. Unbelievable. At Christmas time too, by the way. At Christmas time, he's making his family into a pay piggy. Ooh, you ever heard that song, by the way? By the way, I dropped a fire rap track called Pay Piggy. Where's your rap track? I forgot. Where's it at? Oh, there's not one.
Bro, are you still going on about that? Like, you trying to make me bust out some freestyle or something? Because I guarantee I could just off the top of my head, something that's not even written, just make something up that's better than anything you've made all year.
I mean, you've been promising that for like 2 years, and then you freaking disappeared.
Yeah, well, then you kicked me off the stream.
You disappeared for a year. So.
You turned off the electricity in my house.
Dude, it's a meme when people say Tristan been real quiet. You made that meme literal. You've been real quiet since I dropped my rap songs.
You want to see real quiet? You want to see like real quiet? You want to see the audience reaction?
What's that? Are you threatening to rage quit again? How are you gonna get real quiet?
No. No. You want to see the audience get real quiet? You want to see them stunned? You want to see them thrown back in their seats? Thrown back in their freaking gamer seats? Because I can. You want to do like a beat? You want to give me like a beatbox, like a beat, and I'll just throw something off the top of my head?
You're not gonna have you rapping. We're not gonna have you. I'm sorry. Maybe next time.
Bro, what do you mean you're gonna have me rapping?
Hold on. We gotta get back to the. Look, we got a lot of clips.
Because I can just off the top of my head.
We got a lot of clips, bro. We got a lot of clips.
You want to hear it?
Too.
Life's like this. That's the way it is. Cause life's like this. That's the way it is. Chill out. What you yelling for? Lay back. It's all been done before. And if you could only let it be, you would see I like the way you are when you driving in your car and you're talking about me one-on-one, but you become somebody else around everyone else. You're watching your back like you can't relax. You're trying to be cool. You look like a fool. Tell me, why'd you have to go and make things so complicated? I see the way you're acting like you're somebody else gets me frustrated. Life's like this. You fall and you crawl and you break and you take what you get and you turn it into honesty and promise me I'm never going to find you. Fake it. No. Why you got to go and make things so complicated? I see the way you acting and you're somebody else gets me frustrated. What's up?
Damn, fire, bro. Spitting bars. Hey.
Like that?
The funny part,
my head, like not even.
No, the funny part is that's what you spent the last year writing.
What?
Well, that's what you spent the last year writing. You actually wrote that out. That's why you.
Why would somebody write that, bro? That's off the top of my head. Like that's just freestyle.
I'm sorry, it's just so good. It had to have been written. It had to have been planned. It was so good.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you know, it's so good that somebody would have had to write that. I mean, right. I can keep going.
Can we get back to? We got to get back to. Everybody says it's fire. The chat says
everybody says it's fire. And how many super chats you just get for that,
bro? They're being nice for your mental health. That's all it is. That's what's going on.
Wait, how many super chats you just get?
A couple $1 super chats.
Couple $1.
All right, look.
How about this?
We got a lot of clips.
Yo, he was a boy. She was a girl. Can I make it any more obvious? He was a punk. She did ballet. What more can I say? He wanted her. She never tells. Secretly, she wanted him as well. But all her friends stuck up their nose. They had a problem with his baggy clothes. He was a skater boy. She said, "See you later, boy."
This
he wasn't
is
good enough for her. She had a pretty face, but her
he's
head was
quoting
up. She had to come back down to earth.
This is Avril Lavigne, Avril Lasagna lyrics. Come on, dude. All right, let's get to Francis here. So this was one of my favorite. This was a little overlooked. I mean, the Catholics were a little mad about this, but I really think it's super telling. I think this was a great comment from Francis. Francis said, this is Catholic websites. This is not a conspiracy, anti-Catholic website. Francis says that the great sin of the church is being too masculine, and it's time for the Roman Catholic Church to demasculinize and accept the theology of woman. What did you think about this shocking revelation?
Dang, so that's pretty based, right? Do we think it's based or cringe? I don't know. I don't come up with my own.
We can ask the audience like a poll here: based or cringe? What do you guys think about? Do we need more womanism in the Roman Catholic Church?
What's the Pope-splaining way to actually explain that? Like, have the Pope?
That's a good question. How would you explain that? I did have one Pope-splainer reply when I posted that, and he said, "You didn't read the article in context. He's just trying to say that we need to give women props by demasculinizing." How does that give women props? It says it right here. Demasculinize the church.
When he did the lunch with the Transformers, the Optimus Primes.
Yes, that was because he was being like Jesus and he was evangelizing them.
Yeah, bro, obviously. So right now, what the Pope-splainers would have to say is that he's, maybe there are legitimate problems with toxic masculinity, like too many, like a lot of Latin American,
like he sees it. Yep.
Roman Catholics, and they beat their wives up, and they need to be more in touch with their feminine side and do some mental healths, get their mental health lower.
Right. Is there a lot of Lotharios down there? A lot of, who's the dude that was the famous seducer? Y'all got a lot of them down there? A lot of suave Mexican men down there?
We got one.
You're Mexican? This whole time?
Trans-Mexican.
Nice. That's what I'm talking about. The other thing that was also a hot topic this week with the Roman Catholic Church was the Vatican document with the joint statement with the Buddhists that we see Jesus and Buddha as great healers. No, you might have thought that Buddhism was a dark, demonic religion that tells you to absolve and destroy your personal identity into nothingness and the abyss. But no, actually, Buddha was a great healer. Did you see that?
Dang, who did he heal?
That's a great point. What kind of healing did he actually do? How do you heal if you're telling people to like destroy their psyche and dissolve into nothingness? Like, who does that heal?
Dang, bro. That's like Muhammad was a great businessman. He was a
great businessman.
He was a great trader. He was a merchant.
Well, John Paul II did say, "May John the Baptist protect Islam." That's an actual quote from John Paul II. So,
dang, that's heavy. Hey, popes, dang, you got a lot of Pope-splaining to do if you're gonna really buy into the kind of the whole Roman Catholic. What's sad, most Roman Catholics I know don't believe in papal supremacy. They actually don't know what they're supposed to believe, right? It's more a lot of Roman Catholics who have a genuine desire for God, genuine desire for truth, right? And really maybe think they're in the right church, but they literally, you'll ask them, do you believe in papal infallibility? 90% of Roman Catholics I know will say absolutely not. That's not even, they don't realize it's a dogma. They don't even realize what they're supposed to believe.
Yeah, it's called Vatican I. So that's a pretty important one in the Roman Catholic arsenal. Like you can't, there's no options on that one. And this is another great one this week from Francis. Francis added his signature to a new interfaith statement that calls attention to what The Holy Father and other advocates say is the ongoing crisis threatening the world. And what do you think it is? Is the threat to the world going to hell, the devil, the NWO, evil, human trafficking? No, it's climate. The climate is the great threat.
Wait, is that changing? The climate's changing? Oh, snap.
Yes, it used to be hole in the ozone layer, which they don't talk about anymore. Now it's global warming. Before that, it was hole in the ozone layer, global cooling ice age, hole in the ozone layer in the 90s. Then it was global warming, and then it's climate change. So it's been rebranded like 4 times. But the reason I'm bringing this up is just that, like, we see very clearly that Francis is part of this Davos clique. I mean, he basically just repeats as a kind of mouthpiece everything that Klaus and Gil Bates and Prince Charles and all the Davos crew say. And that's what's amazing to me, is that he literally says every week what Davos says, and then people are like, no, he's not part of the New World Order.
But you don't care about the environment? Why you hate the environment?
That is an interesting false dialectic, isn't it? Right? Like, so either you hate the environment or you support total austerity banking elites taking over everything. So,
yeah, exactly. That's the only way. You
it's the only two. There's no other options, right? That's it.
Yeah, you want to pull baby seals out of the ocean and just smash them on the melting ice caps. And then just dump oil down beluga whales' mouths and just drown them to death in like boiling hot oil. Or you want to live in a coon pod for the rest of your life and have everything rationed to you like a good little global citizen. Like, those are the two options.
Did you see by chance this thing that I put up? Somebody sent me this and I didn't believe it. I was like, that can't be real. It's got to be some kind of weird like joke. But the Cosmopolitan magazine talking about having a satanic abortion ceremony. Did you see that? Cosmo promoting.
Dude, I mean, it literally looks like, I thought that this was some conspiracy person made a
right,
Photoshop
a joke,
a joke that could be theoretically real, but yeah, they legit did that. What is I can't really read the text. It's kind of small down there. What did they?
Yeah, I'll read it for you. So basically, if you, as far as I know, it's still there. Like, people are saying it's not there anymore. I checked the other day and it was still there, so it might be gone now. But it says, how does this ceremony work? Patients of all faiths are welcome at the Samuel Alito's mom's satanic abortion clinic in New Mexico. Along with medical counsel, the church, the Satanic Temple offers a free ceremonial support to everybody. The ceremonies are optional and they can be customized. Here is a simple example, and then it like went through a slide of pages of prayers that you could say. And then people were like, oh, could you not tell by the name that it's a joke, Samuel Alito's mom? Well, the name of the clinic is a joke because it's parodying the Catholic Supreme Court, judge Samuel Alito. And so they're making fun of him and saying, we're dedicating this to your mom. And but if you read the Cosmo article on it, it goes on to actually say, no, it's a real clinic. So it's not a joke. So people either didn't read it or they're lying. But you can see here in the actual article that I posted, it says, the New Mexico-based telehealth practice is a legitimate medical entity run by an accredited clinical team, and it offers abortion care to patients within the state lines. It prescribes pills as well as all other forms of services, and they also try to encourage you to, quote, do a ceremony for self-affirmation. And then people were like, oh, they didn't really do it. Freaking Kotel and Rachel did a whole stream playing clips of TikTok Gen Z chicks who talk about having done it. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I mean, like, it was like maybe a year or 2 years ago. I did a stream and it was about like a post reproductive healthing your baby in the womb ritual that a chick was doing. She just like burned some sage and like, like, I just feel kind of bad, like, then moved on with her life. But it was just some kind of witchy, new agey, goofball hipster hippie chick,
right? Yeah, so this
but it's crazy. Like, it's such a slit how it starts out with, well, what if the woman's life is in danger? Surely we need to reproductive health service her, and what about women's rights? What about all the women that are taken forcefully and forcefully impregnated? Surely you care about them. It's like this, but then a quick slide to you're gonna do the satanic reproductive health services, and we're gonna treat this like a literal Rosemary's Baby sacrifice.
Exactly.
Cute. No, but we're just being ironic, right? Yeah, no, but no.
No, if you listen to Rachel and Kotel's stream, the TikTok clips that they play, they're not being ironic. The chicks are being serious. There's one chick that's like, I've done like 5 of these, and it's really empowering. I mean, it's super dark stuff. The stream is hard to listen to, not because of them, just because of the subject matter. But the people are like turning into straight up demons, dude. It's getting for real now. You know what I mean? Conspiracy stuff is no longer, weirdo pot smoking dudes on the internet talking about all seeing eye symbolism. Now it's turning into like the people on your street are becoming actual goblin Satan worshipers. It's getting real. You know what I mean?
Well, there's this weird interplay too between there's we could do a whole show just on this. I don't even know how to whittle it down to a short name, but there's this phenomenon of the doing something ironically up until you're literally doing it, right? Like when I had
the hipster wedding seemed that way. That Gen Z Gen Z hipster wedding that we just watched was like, let's do like a wedding, but it's like the spaghetti monster's the god of the wedding. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So it's like people will start out with that kind of stuff. It's like, oh, it's like fake mock this, like let's mock Christ and just like pretend to do this thing. It's ironic. We're not really satanic. And then, I mean, I got literal, close friends, not that close with them anymore, but guys I went to college with, high school, who, kind of didn't like Christianity, were like rebellious or whatever, and they would get like satanic tattoos and stuff, right? But it's like they're not. You ask them if they're satanic, and they're no, I'm not really satanic. But then I just remember being in places with friends of mine, and they're we're all drinking, we're all like 20, 21 years old, and they want to like pull out a BB gun and shoot the Bible. Like someone there was a Bible there for some reason. They're pulling out a BB gun and shooting it in the house. It's like, okay, but you're just being ironic, right? It's like it's just funny. It's kind of like even in media, one of the most popular shows when we were growing up was Jackass, right? And Jackass, there's this whole thing in Jackass. When Weckenball was on my stream, like I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, we talked about how Jackass, they do this like you're kind of playing gay chicken. You're like let's the Jackass guys are always like, oh, like I'm Steve-O, dude. Steve-O, and this is like doing gay sex with your friend. Like it's like that's the skit. It's like Steve-O, puts something in his butt.
That was a really good. Yeah, that was that was a good.
Steve-O went and got a tattoo, and it's like a dude violating a baby. He got that tattoo.
Oh, I forgot about his degenerate tattoo. I remember that. Yeah.
That wasn't he made these videos and he was just so demonic and out of his mind. He's doing all these drugs in the Steve-O video series. This is probably like 2007 or something. 2006. Because I remember, no, 2005 maybe. Because I remember watching these videos in like college dorm. And they were so over the top. But he was like, I'm going to get a tattoo of a dude violating a baby. It's just the worst thing you could think of, and he's just messed up on drugs and just doing all this demonic stuff. Right. So I think there is an aspect of that with even like sexual degeneracy, where like, oh, like with your bros, like just like do jokes where we're like acting gay or whatever. Like it just keeps going and going. You're like, why are you guys still doing that? No one's even looking. You guys doing your gay shtick. No one cares. There's this aspect of that, I think, in a lot of this stuff, like the reproductive health services being a satanic sacrifice.
Right.
People
but
are
it's
doing
getting
it
serious is the thing.
poke fun at the man, do the stuffy Catholic Church, screw you, Pope. But it's like, oh, well, now you're actually like sacrificing babies to own the man. Like you're becoming a demon, thinking you're just being rebellious to be cool and edgy. Now you're retarded.
No, now you're actually possessed. Exactly. Climate grifters want 2.4 trillion more to solve global warming, and that it leads us into what I thought would be a good topic tonight, which is the global elites had their big. They have 1 million of these, convos every year. This year it was the COP28 global warming grifters at COP28, focusing on getting rid of oil, which is absolutely insane because I think there was a discussion this week on Lord Voldemort's show where they were talking about what this would actually affect. This would actually lead to billions of people dying. I mean, if we were to actually get rid of all oil, there's no such thing. It's not fossil fuels. It's not dinosaur juice. Whatever oil is, I mean, it would absolutely destroy the global economy and first world countries. I mean, it's completely ridiculous. But let's see what this beautiful woman here, Hillary, has to say about it.
We're seeing and beginning to pay attention and to count and record the deaths that are related to climate, and by far the biggest killer is extreme heat. I mean, even in Europe.
So she said extreme heat. Alex played this clip. This is really funny. Listen to what she says here in this clip. This is so ridiculous.
Last summer, which has the ability to count and figure out what happened. They recorded 61,000 deaths.
So Hillary says 61,000 people in Europe died from extreme heat, and Africa could see 500,000, right? So there's no other potential competitors for what those numbers might be, if they're even real numbers. I mean, it couldn't be any other events that.
How are you calculating this? Like, anybody who dies of, say you've got like a thrombus, the thrombotic issue, and a blood flow issue, and high blood pressure, and you've got your blood's clotting up for some reason, right? Nobody could possibly know why.
No idea why. No idea.
No idea. It could be literally anything, except there's one thing that we know it couldn't be. It could be literally anything else except the one thing. So say that's happening, and you get a stroke, and you die. So that's climate change, right?
It's Santa Ana, dude. It's freaking Santa Ana.
Right. You get that. It's absolutely insane. So how are they quantifying this is the first question. And then it's all based on abstractions, right? It's always like, well, we need to get our fossil fuel use, which is a psyop term in and of itself. We need to get our fossil fuel use down, because if we don't stop using fossil fuels, the earth is going to heat up more than 1.5 degrees Celsius. And if we can limit it to this amount, then we can stop it for the temperature from going up 1.5 degrees Celsius. And that's like the magic number they've come up with, this 1.5 degrees Celsius. It's the most crazy pseudoscientific gobbledygook abstraction nonsense that I can't believe anybody who takes themselves to be serious and scientific could actually believe. I mean, this has always seemed completely absurd to me since I remember being in the university in 2007, 2008, taking biology courses and asking simple questions to biology professors about this stuff. And at that time, the IPCC scandal was going on, where it came out in I think it was 2007.
They were manipulating the data.
They were manipulating the data, and this was like just the tip of the iceberg type thing. Not only are they manipulating the data, the whole framework that the data is assuming is a false assumption, faulty assumption. So you got faulty assumptions stacked on faulty assumptions, and it's just a big sandhill structure. And the professors, when I was asking them about this, would just get upset. They would literally just get upset and name call because it was already so politicized back then.
Yeah, I had this German professor, this woman who didn't look like a woman, and she assigned us to watch Inconvenient Truth by Al Gore, and I watched it, and I wrote this scathing review and critique, and I was like rebutting all the claims in it, like how. Remember when they had the polar bear floating on the ice cube, and he's gonna drown because there's not the ice caps are
the polar bears can't swim.
And she marked it up and gave me an F on that paper because I was going against the narrative. So I had the same experience in undergrad.
It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. So I can't imagine how bad it is now. Someone sent me a message during my stream, and I actually just saw it. Someone sent me a DM on Discord saying, I'm taking I think it was a nutrition class. I'll read this comment. This is really funny. So he says, watching your stream right now, just want to let you know I'm taking a college class on family science right now. And the course teaches that kids are bad for relationships and people are happier when they don't have any kids. They're teaching family science. Well, the science says that not having kids will
family
make you
science
happy.
is not having families, right? Life science is how to kill everybody, right? It's like everything's health class is pharmaceutical.
Reproductive health services is how to destroy your reproductive health, right?
I want to remind everybody in the chat too that you can still get my philosophy course that I taught for our buddy Richard Grove over at Autonomy Agora Marketplace. The link is right there. It's 12 courses, over 30 hours of lecture material and Q&A, and that is still available. And I think the next season I'm going to be teaching the Global Elite books. So if you're interested in that, head on over to that link right there in the Autonomy Agora Marketplace. I did want to play this too, which is this wacko talking about crazy nonsense at the same COP28 stuff. I think this is Greg Reese, the Greg Reset.
In his usual lying hysteria, John Kerry, who serves as the first U.S. Special Presidential Envoy for Climate,
By the way, I've got a great Greg Reese. My Greg Reese. It sounds like this. Tristan Haggard, one of the worst people on the internet,
told a series of lies and announced that our government is planning to shut down U.S. agriculture. They call it innovation because they are confident that our pain and desperation will someday give birth to an innovative new solution. Or at least that's their cover story.
Emissions from the food system alone are projected to cause another 0.5 degree of warming by mid-century on the current course that we are today. And instead of being on a course to be able to hold the Earth's temperature...
I mean, dude, look at him. He looks worse than like Christopher Lee playing Dracula. He looks like Lurch, like the dad in Addams Family or something.
So that's kind of messed up, man. How do you know that Lurch didn't have mental health?
It's all about your mental health. Look. Last time you took a mental health day, you were gone for a year. So whatever you need to feel like this is a safe space for you, bro.
Just saying, it seems kind of like ableist.
This is a safe space for you.
Didn't he have some cognitive deficiencies?
No, he's in Skull and Bones. Remember that? Do you remember that?
I mean, this is kind of a little bit ageist.
Increase to 1.5 degrees. We're actually on a course to hit around 3 degrees.
There's his one. No, did you hear that? It's not 1.5 degrees, Tristan. It's going to be 3 degrees.
Well, that's what will kill us all. But if we get it at 1.5,
and you just can't continue to both warm the planet while also expecting to feed it. Doesn't work. And as is so often the case with respect to the climate crisis, we have to fight on multiple fronts simultaneously. This is the biggest organizational effort that I think we have faced, certainly since World War II, but perhaps ever. So we have to reduce emissions from the food system to keep the 1.5 degrees alive. Why do we have to keep 1.5 degrees alive? Because scientists.
Because science. That's why. Why are you even asking? Because science.
The basis of physics and mathematics, not ideology and politics or party labels or anything else. As a matter of physics and mathematics, and some biology and chemistry have told us.
Did you say fish sticks and mathematics, bro?
I like how you don't even have to give a paper or a citation nowadays. You just say the discipline. Because biology. Because science.
Math, and physics, and quantum quarks, and particles, and mitochondrias, and
tachyons. Because of tachyons.
These are the consequences.
Everything out of his mouth is a lie. The exact opposite of what he says is true. The scientists he is referring to are almost all on the United Nations payroll.
And that's all the same people that the IPCC was all the same people. It was all that same, a bunch of academics who are part of a UN bureaucracy goon squad that has nothing to do with science. It's just a bunch of bureaucrats saying that the sun has nothing to do with the warming of the planet. It's the hole in the ozone layer, and it's the greenhouse effect.
The main driver of the planet is you not giving more money to us.
Right. Trillions of dollars. So they want $2 trillion. So, and then Gil Bates is here.
That's perfectly reasonable. Why? I mean, if we could fix the climate, if we could fix the temperature, no more above 1.5 degrees Celsius. I mean, a few trillion. What is that to you?
Let's see what Gil Bates says about it.
And in fact, a carbon tax over time should be put on so that the new, say the electric car or the plane that use hydrogen, the fact it doesn't emit carbon, you're helping it get adoption.
So we need carbon taxes, Gil Bates says. The one dude that I thought this was funny, the head of it, right? Dr. Sultan Al-Jaber, did you hear that he was like, there's actually no science behind how we're going to get off of oil? Which is funny because, I mean, yeah, he's like a, Saudi oil magnate, I'm sure, but that's actually true, right? I mean, there's actually not going to be at this stage, unless there's some sort of secret free energy somewhere. Like, it's utterly ridiculous to think that in the next 10 years you could transition out of cars. But they're actually moving now. They want to ban cars. Did you say they want to charge people in New York to travel to work? You're going to pay like $28.
Exactly. No, they want first. They'll do it in the cities. They'll get rid of the vehicles and private vehicle ownership in the cities. I did a stream a few years ago. I mapped out the exact roadmap that I see common. And there's this pilot city in Israel. I forget which city it was, where they're going to do basically a buying and there's this public-private partnership type thing. So it's basically like Uber and the government are going to buy all your private vehicles for a great price. Right? They'll give you, whatever, 10% above value or something crazy probably. They buy all your vehicles, and then you can only use the electric vehicles, the autonomous vehicles in these cities. Because that's actually the only logical way to get these autonomous vehicles on the road. The only way it can be safe is if it's just a Disneyland ride. Right? If you have no people that are driving cars and can make any errors, and everything is just this, it's basically just a track that goes in a circle, well, then we're not going to have any more deaths. And you look at all the people that are dying in automobile accidents. It's so bad. It's so terrible. So they've already begun this kind of cognitive implantation of the roadmap that they're going to use. And it's private vehicle ownership in cities goes first. Then you just cut off the rural areas and the outside areas of hydrocarbons. People can't get fuel. They can't get diesel. You can't buy the things you need to maintain your vehicles. And you've got it right there. You've got, it'll be massive. It'll be basically the oil holodomor of all the people that live outside of these cities. You won't be able to live outside the cities. And that's how you get everyone to the smart cities too. You just cut off resources.
And it's Ida Alkin's circular economy. You won't need anything. It's the circular economy. You don't need a car. You'll just have the automated system come pick you up for your slave wagey cuck job. This is a good meme showing our buddy Maurice Strong from the from Club of Rome back in 1972 said, we only have 10 years to save the world from climate catastrophe. And then Tedros, it looks like Tedros, Mustafa Tolba, UN director, 1982. We only have 18 years to save the world from planet catastrophe. 1989, another UN guy. We only have 10 years. UN director 2023, exactly, saying all the same stuff, right? So they keep saying we're going to be destroyed, and then ironically, as happens all the time, their jets get snowed in and frozen, right? They're talking about how we're going to be cooked, and then here they are in Munich, and they can't fly because their planes are frozen. So it's just ridiculous.
Even the way that they take their 1.5 degrees Celsius thing, it's so absurd because how you can't it's like they want you to think that they're taking a giant thermometer and just like putting it under the tongue of Mammy Earth and her, you know, her basal temperature.
They taking Mammy Earth temperature.
like Mammy Earth got a fever.
Mammy Earth got a fever. You need to die. You need to die. You giving Mammy Earth a fever. You like a little virus inside of Mammy Earth, giving her a fever.
Yeah. Well, this is and they're the immune system. They're the hyper intelligent immune system cells.
That's actually Bertrand Russell describes it that way. Or no, Jonas Salk says that the priest class are like the immune system of the ecosystem.
Yeah, exactly, because they'll eliminate the dead cells.
The viruses, yeah, exactly, the dead cells.
So they'll trigger the autophagy process of the earth to just detoxify all you extra people and the extra cells, because they tell you literally they want you to believe that you're a cancer, right? And you hear people thinking that they're making these, they're like, oh dude, like we're just like freaking cancer on this planet, man. Like I was walking by some cafe the other day, and this boomer ass expats, like hippie dude is talking about his healing journey, and it's like, like my mental health and like my self-care. And he's talking to this guy, and he's saying, we're just like a cancer, dude. We're like an ugly cancerous sore on the planet.
Yeah.
And then he jumps from that right into like, we just gotta like make the most of every day, man. We just gotta like, just make it, just do our best and just make every day worth it. I caught maybe 30 seconds of this conversation while I'm buying my kids a freaking cinnamon roll. And it was amazing. It was like a parody that you and I would, like a skit that me and you would do, making fun of some,
and he's literally saying it.
Ayahuasca boomers.
I want to remind you guys too that when we were kids, we liked Lick-O-Maid, and imagine if there was such a thing as a Lick-O-Maid that would make you buff. Guess what? Chalk invented it. It's called Chad mode. See that right there? Watch, look. It's on my tongue, and it tastes like Lick-O-Maid, and it will help get you buff. Look at that dude right there. That's a Chad dude right there. That's what you're going to be like. And if you head on over to chalk.com right now, use the promo code J50, that's JAY50, to get 50% off that performance stack. You get the Tonk Italy, you get the Action 2.0, you get the Chad mode, the clean pre-workout with no nasty fake chemicals, no sugar, none of that nonsense. All organic products, better than organic, actually. You get 50% off that stack using the promo code J50, that's JAY50, or the promo code J53LIFE, JAY53LIFE, over at chalk.com. That is the show sponsor. And Chalk also is our buddy Tristan's sponsor. So you're not just supporting me, you're also supporting me and Tristan, but not really Tristan.
And your own health.
Yeah,
your own health.
And not really
and
Tristan.
Mental health.
Not really.
If you have mental health, Chalk will decrease your mental health.
And yeah, it's right. So not really Tristan, because you're using my promo code. So, but it comes from a place of wanting to help Tristan. But
it comes from, and that's what's important. What's important is that you're helping Jay. That you're
my motives are good, right? So,
it's the thought that counts.
I'm good-hearted in this, even though it actually only helps me. So, use those promo codes. Let's look at COP28.
I'm pretty sure if you use those promo codes too, that it will keep the temperature of the basal temperature of Mammy Earth will stay at -1. Was it? It won't go up 1.5 degrees, so it'll heal Mammy Earth's fever.
Well, the Prince Charles has a message for us. He doesn't believe the earth belongs to us. I think he even says something about the beautiful indigenous people. So let's check out what our Royal Highness, the King, has to say to us.
Some important progress has been made, but it worries me greatly that we remain so dreadfully far off track, as the global stocktake report demonstrates so graphically. The dangers are no longer distant risks. I have seen across the Commonwealth and beyond countless communities which are unable to withstand repeated shocks, whose lives and livelihoods are laid waste by climate change. Surely real action is required to stem the growing toll of its most vulnerable victims. As I've tried to say on many occasions, unless we rapidly repair and restore nature's unique economy based on harmony and balance, which is our ultimate sustainer, our own economy and survivability will be imperiled. We are carrying out a vast, frightening experiment of changing every ecological condition all at once, at a pace that far outstrips nature's ability to cope. After all, ladies and gentlemen, in 2050, our grandchildren won't be asking what we said. They will be living with the consequences of what we did or didn't do. So if we act together to safeguard our precious planet, the welfare of all our people will surely follow. And we need to remember, too, that the indigenous worldview teaches us that we are all connected, not only as human beings, but with all living things and all that sustains life.
The indigenous worldview. Can you believe that? The indigenous worldview, right? We're
As
all
if there's
connected.
one indigenous worldview.
We're all connected to the indigenous worldview.
According to the wisdom of Pocahontas, we are all one. And when John Smith and the evil white men came to the Americas, it made Mammy Earth super, super sad. Because
Dude,
she
I
could
love it
feel
when they
that
talk about
were
the indigenous worldview bullshit. It's so stupid. Listen, dude, indigenous people, I mean, they're people. We love them. We want to see them flourish. But the primitive indigenous worldview is not in any way superior. I mean, a lot of these people were like rolling around in doo-doo, dude. Seriously. Literally rolling in doo-doo.
No, Jay, you don't understand. The indigenous people had a way of keeping their populations in check. They had
Eat the children. They would eat them.
ways of getting rid of the extra people on the tops of pyramids when they would eat their hearts.
Exactly. Performing sacred rituals.
And I do not appreciate those in the audience who are making fun of my little sausage fingers, J. Dyer in particular. I think you were being a little judgy looking at my sausage fingers. Those are beyond sausage fingers, plant-based.
They're plant-based fingers, exactly.
They're plant-based, if you will, yes.
Do you support an indigenous worldview? The holy indigenous
I mean, I live it, dude. I mean, I friggin' got my chakras aligned. Hit on my shaman and do mental health. Like I'm on it, dude. Crystals, I have crystals, many crystals. Tattoos, like cool tattoos and stuff. Tribal tattoos.
We need a little bit of your Gil Bates impression. We haven't heard it at all tonight.
Steve-O blew my throat
was
out.
pretty. I mean, it was pretty awesome. But have you heard Bill Gates in a while?
I gotta hear his voice.
Challenge facing you in that fight.
Well, climate change is very unjust because most of the suffering will be the poor, particularly who have to farm to get enough food. And when
he cares about poor people, first of all, so understand that he cares a lot about poor African people.
What you don't understand is that climate change is really about saving the indigenous.
Mental health.
The indigenous, they're the most affected, which is why I want to completely get rid of all of their food supply and force them to eat beyond meat, because that'll just really help.
I'd like to see a lot more New Balance factories set up there in the global south so that they can make New Balance sneakers for me.
Speed with which this needs to be done is very daunting.
How fast do we need to move?
Well, we've set ambitious goals. Trying to get to zero by 20.
If you noticed, I've listened to quite a bit of Gil Bates lately. Every time he'll say a couple sentences, he'll go, "Ah." He does that every few sentences.
50. Some countries are on board and making progress with that. But, when you have global problems, it's tough to get everyone, not just every country, but every sector of emissions to move quickly.
We're here in Dubai.
So they're moving quickly. They've set ambitious goals, and it's basically ZPG, zero growth, austerity, make you poor, get you in a coffin city, everything that we've talked about, you and I, for you for a long time, me for a long time. getting us to sterilize ourselves and to go away. And hopefully everybody can see that, we weren't just doing entertaining podcasts. I mean, we were doing entertaining podcasts, but all the stuff we're talking about is real. This is not playtime. It's for real. Are you there? Did you check?
Yeah, it's like this dude wants to save the planet by forcing everybody. Like he makes literal poop water, right? He's in one of the edits that I made a couple years ago that featured his
it's poop water,
program.
but you can drink it.
No, it's just the indigenous people. We could really help all the little Pocahontases, and we could kind of just quarantine them in like a nature reserve, and the climate would probably stop changing if we could get them to both drink the poo-poo and also give them reproductive health services and teach them to put the pee-pee in the poo-poo.
Yeah.
And it would be a lot better for everyone.
I mean, I think the key here is that it's really hard for people to understand the planet is run by mega level con men, right? So people know about con men at the local level. They know about big level con men like Sam Bankman-Fried. But if you really want to understand the global order and how it's run by insanely more devious con men than Sam Bankman-Fried. There's people above him, but they're running the same types of scams. And so when I see people like, Gil Bates and Prince Charles and Klaus and all these characters, I really just see like higher level con men. What do you think?
I see philanthropy. I see
philanthropy? Okay.
I see an old soul who pains when he sees Mamure suffering.
Right.
I see a man struggling to help a dying planet. I know you like to see the worst in people because you're very cynical, but I've done more shadow work. In fact, I've done a lot of shadow work.
I'm mean. So
yeah, but that's the thing. Like thank you. I've done the shadow work, and you're pretty much all shadow and no work. So there's a difference in our perspective, which is why I think people like when we get together, because they get my positive perspective of seeing the best in this sweet little man, and you just want to be mean.
Well, I appreciate that you admitted that you're a sweet little man. We'll all remember that. Base Piggy sends $25 and says, I'm fixing to renew my Chalk subscription. Which promo code do I use? Well, one of those will drain all of your crypto accounts. So be sure and use J53LIFE. Ray C sends $3 and doesn't say anything. Blue Skittle sends $10 and says, why was the serpent made to crawl on its belly when that's what it does? Quoting the Hillsdale College ad that we're all very familiar with. Argentinian German dwells $1. Since war in heaven predates the fall of man, does the war in heaven possibly mean some metaphysically different thing or some other essence, since it predates yin-yang dialectics of the fallen cosmos? No, it just means that there was a war amongst the angelic hosts before man fell, and that's why Satan was already fallen when he tempts Adam and Eve. So that's what I understand that to be. Tristan, feel free to comment if you want to. Amelia Strauss sends $10 and she says nothing. Commies go to heck, $1. Jay, do you think the West will collapse? What are the white pills on the horizon? I want to give my white pills, then I'll say to Tristan. First of all, I think a lot of this global elite stuff doesn't really work. A lot of people are seeing through it. They've got a lot of their plan through, but a lot of people are just not falling for the same nonsense over and over and over. I don't know if we've got enough people awake yet, per se, to how bad it really is. People are waking up and understanding corruption and whatnot, but they're not understanding what the real power structure is and how this is all. I mean, it's not. People still think that it's run by a bunch of incompetent dummies, and it's not. We got to get past that hurdle. Tristan, what do you think is the good news on the horizon?
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, just concerning the being run by incompetent dummies, I think a lot of the levels are incompetent dummies, but sprinkled in there, they're intelligent, snaky, very manipulative people, right? So it's just like any corporation. Most people that work there just going through the motions, like they're not really buying into the message or what's driving the company. But, at the top levels, the board of directors, like there are a few people there who really know what's up. So I think looking at it kind of like that, and then also understanding that men who are driven by their own passions and slaves to their own passions are essentially just the puppets of the demonic, right? I mean, it's man's fallen nature that is, falling prey to and becoming enslaved to all these, desires for self-destructive things, right? So we see a lot of self-destructive behavior being not just normalized, but lionized, right? Like the most abhorrent things that just a
Right.
few generations ago our ancestors would have been publicly executing people for doing and saying in public are normalized now, and this is progress and it's beautiful and love is love and all this nonsense. But it's like, yeah, all this nastiness is happening, but also it's so corny, right? Like evil is it's so stupid, right? Like evil actually is.
Yeah, we were just talking about that, Jamie and I, because she is going to do a podcast on this stupid Beyonce thing, and it's like there's some documentary that Beyonce put out that she directed, and the weird part is that all the stuff that Beyonce and Jay-Z were doing that was edgy, like ooh, they like Crowley and they're into witchcraft stuff from like 15 years ago. It was edgy 15 years. It's like they're still rolling with the same stuff it's not even edgy anymore. It's just corny and lame. You know what I mean? Oh, Beyonce likes Crowley. Dude, that's nothing but degenerate nonsense. It's not deep.
Right,
It's
Crowley died. He couldn't even get 12 people to come to his funeral.
A lone loser,
broke,
OD.
an addict. He was just the quintessential. He's just like he was a Coomer retard who zonked himself into oblivion in his dumbass rituals, doing all these insane amounts of drugs. He was a total slave. He was a complete
insane amounts of butt stuff, dude.
Right. Drugs and he was a total dink. I mean, he was just dinking constantly.
If you're a god being, then how come you're dying in a ratty ass apartment with cockroaches? I'm sorry, but a god being doesn't
addicted to heroin.
Addicted to heroin in an apartment with nothing but cockroaches.
Yeah, bro, you're like a god.
You're a god.
You can't even stop doing heroin.
Yeah, but
so
Beyonce
it's like
says
evil...
that Crowley's cool.
Yeah, I mean the white pill is really, it's like there is no, even just like going back to Genesis, right, where God doesn't create evil. Evil doesn't have ontological created substance. There is no evil substance. It's just a deprivation of good. It's a twisting of good. So, it's we have life. We've been given life. You got families, communities, right? So what the white pill is really, it's the truth. The white pill is Christ. The white pill is your love for your neighbor, for your family, for your friends, right? Like there's all this crazy stuff going on in the world, but also like there's a lot of life is still good even with all this madness, and we have it real easy. Like we see all this stuff coming down the pipe, and there's stuff's coming down the line. And yeah, it could get real nasty, but at the same time, we still have it a lot better, and most of us have never really suffered, right? Let's be honest. Like all these people out there like talking about, oh, I have really bad anxiety. It's like I just have so much trauma from my childhood, and like I have mental health because like my parents made me do the dishes when I was 12, and I really didn't want to. My dad made me play baseball, and he yelled at me one time when I was being like, I wasn't doing what he said he wanted me to do, and he yelled at me, and I have trauma. I need to work past my trauma. It's like, dude, we're so soft. Most of us, and a lot of people really do suffer, but most of us haven't really suffered a lot. So yeah, I think focusing on, building on what's good, and, you mock the nonsense out there, and don't engage with it, right? Build your people up around you, build the people up around you, build your relationships, and focus on what's good and solid, and build on that.
Or just build people, like AI relationships. If you don't have friends or family, just build a person to be your friend. Ombre sends $20. Jay, Tristan, when will the TikTok invasion stream happen? Probably not, because TikTok is cancer. Joy J, $5. Best power couple ever. That's a little fake and gray, but thank you for the super chat. FKS Berg, $5, says nothing. Thank you so much. Tenfold Hat Girl, $5. The last time I noticed the last trend I noticed is that men cohabit, and then they are pseudo stay-at-home husbands, like men and women cohabiting.
Dang, I just want to say I want to apologize to Marsh Hawk in the chat. Marsh Hawk in the chat says I have truly suffered waiting in line for the newest iPhone. Bro, if you have mental health, just hit me up, dude. That sounds horrible. I'm so sorry.
Tristan allows a safe space in his bubble for mental health, so you can talk to him.
If you have it, like, talk about it. Tell everyone.
Hold on, I'm trying to understand her super chat. The latest trend I see is cohabiting men, I guess men with a girl, that are...
No, dude, he's talking about like Andrew Tate and like manosphere dudes who live with each other and live a homosexual lifestyle by like getting girls or whatever. That's probably what he's talking about.
Hold on,
like Andrew Tate.
No, she's saying it's a girl. Tinfoil Hat Girl says that cohabiting men, I think she's not talking about gay, she's talking about that they're stay-at-home husbands, and they talk about she's saying there's a new trend of stay-at-home husbands, I think is what she's saying. But they're not even married, but the guy stays at home, and then the live-in girlfriend goes to work, I think is what she's talking about. She says this is a new trend.
What's wrong with that? I mean, my wife's boyfriend stays at home, and he stays at home and keeps the house. She works.
True that. So who does the chores, you or her?
Well, if I want to use the Nintendo Switch, I
Switch. He tells you to do the chores. So he basically gives you a to-do list, a honey-do list.
Yeah, no, dude, he's super cool. He gives me allowance sometimes. Like, if I'm good, it's all good.
Your wife's boyfriend gives you an allowance.
Your wife's boyfriend doesn't give you an allowance?
You empty the dishwasher.
Well, I mean, maybe you're jealous again. Here you go, Jay mocking me out of jealousy again.
Yeah, your wife doesn't even have to do the ladies' duties anymore. Her and their boyfriend make you do the
she's a freaking girl boss, man. She's a freaking girl. She's doing... Why are you laughing?
Does he let you
play? Dude, you never even...
Does he let you play Switch? Does he ever even let you play Switch, or does he throw the controller at you?
No, he tells me when I should go play it. When it's adult time in the bedroom, I go play Switch.
You have a bedtime.
Why are you laughing? You don't do that?
You have a bedtime.
Bro, you would be super good friends with Tyshawn. He's freaking dope, dude.
Your wife's boyfriend is named Tyshawn?
Why is that weird?
What? Oh man, this is great. I was wondering what you were up to the last year. No, you were getting really good at Switch. Okay. Anyway, she says that this will be a pathway to UBI. So the guys will stay at home, the wives will go work, the guys will do the dishes, take out the trash, and then they'll be on the UBI. Storm the Cat, $5. Thank you for your elf. Thank you. John Bowlerman, $7.50. This is for little AIDS, quote, rapping. Alula, $5. Use the promo code
You
J50.
added the quote. You added the quote. Don't lie.
No. Okay, I did. Use the promo code J50 at chalk.com. Exactly. Thank you. We got people in the audience that know what's up. Alula knows what's up. Frankie D, $5. Jay, I'm on chalk finally. I'm getting a Bayes Chad chin. Exactly. That's what it does. It gives you chalk chin. Get tested at the lab, and my Bayes levels are up 100 units. Good. That's what happens. It sounds like you are definitely legitimately taking chalk. I will also become a catechumen soon. My Bayes levels are also moving up due to that. Glory to God. I'm glad to see Tristan here. Thank you so much, Frankie D. Chris G, 113, $10. If we are all Homo sapiens, Jay, then if we find another Homo sapien attractive, does that make us gray, faking gray? Yes, that is the definition of what it means to be gray. Frankie D, $5. Shout out to the Austin Orthodox Bros. Shout out to the Ortho Bros. Austin, Jimmy, Jacob, Justin, that sounds like made up names. Jacob, Jimmy, Justin. Come on, dude. Jonah, Sam, Olaf, and Nick. Shout out also. Dude's shouting out his whole freaking contacts list. Joe, Jack, Jose, and Cole. Chromatic, $5. Jay, you won't believe this. Kenneth Copeland cured me of being a short man. He put his hand on my legs and said, "In the name of Jesus, I command your knees to grow, Negro." Cobra Commander, $5. It is funny they are taking a slur of Asians and they're making it their lifestyle. Where is the outrage for stopping Asian hate? Mind Hack, $5. Thank you for your work. Thank you, Mind Hack. Guys, remember, if you want some good Christmas gifts, head on over to Jay's Analysis in the shop. You can get my books. You can also head on over to Tristan's channel and his website and get the Carnivore Cookbook. I have the Carnivore Cookbook. Jamie has used it many times. It's very neat. Tristan, what else do people get when they go over to your website other than a bunch of computer viruses?
First of all, you get put on a list by the government. No,
you get on a no-fly list. Okay, what else?
you get an air marshal every time you fly. You get look, if you don't like, Mammy Earth's pretty sick, right? We can all agree, right? Like, we took her temperature the other day, stuck a big ass thermometer in her mouth, and she's like 0.5 degrees up from normal temperature. So if you want to keep it down, obviously the best way to do that is by getting your health in line, by getting your life in line. So yeah, we got a lot of resources over there. We got a few books. We got the Carnivore Cookbook is one of the most recent pieces we got over there. So you can hit up the website, primaledgehealth.com, for that. But then also just subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the old YouTube channel. Jay and I will be back on there next week. I think we might talk about some cult stuff.
We're going to catch up on all of our cult buddies, our cult bros, like Nature Boy. Who else we got to catch up on?
That's right. Well, dude,
Extinction Rebellion.
Yeah, Extinction Rebellion. We'll talk about that. We'll talk a little bit about the I think it would be fun to even just, I've got some stuff pulled up about self-care, like the millennial self-care thing. And like that, I think I'm gonna do a stream on that on Monday or Tuesday. So anyways, we'll talk about that. I got a few ideas. So yeah, we're gonna try to do this. We'll see. Unless, I mean, honestly, if Jay, this is a purely utilitarian relationship that I have with Jay. So if Jay doesn't maintain his level of fame and his same level of being like a super famous diva, then he and I don't really talk. So we'll see if we can continue this, but we're gonna try to do it every week. I know you homies, the nerds and the bigots, love it when Jay and I get together. So those are some of my favorite streams, some of Jay's favorite streams. So next week we got to come up with a name for it. I think my name was really good, the one I came up with, which was the Tristan Haggard Show, featuring secondarily and less importantly Jay Dyer.
Yes. I did hear you on that. I hear you. But when you rage quit the internet for a year, it'll just be me hosting the Tristan Haggard Show, and it won't make much sense. So,
yeah, but what else are you going to talk about if I'm not there? Like, well, there's nothing else.
Well,
to talk about.
I'm here to promote you. So everybody you see on the screen right there's Tristan's channel. It says Jay. Yeah, that's Tristan's channel. So if you want to support him, go to Jay Dyer right there and subscribe to that website to support Tristan. There's this other backup here. Not a lot of people over there. By the way, he's talking about who's the E-Diva. Let's see, 124,000 subscribers and 120. Oh, so basically we're almost there. I'd say we're
well. Hey, hold on. I used to have like 133,000 subscribers.
So interesting. Maybe people left. You ever think about that?
Well, yeah. Well, this is the thing. Like whereas the Illuminati, the reptilian.
So the Illuminati took 10,000 people away. Is that what happened?
Hold on, let me explain, bro. The Alpha Draconians and the Galactic Federation, the dark force of the Galactic Federation, have been. Why are you laughing, bro?
Why are you laughing?
Do not laugh when I speak. My mental health. It gives me mental health when you do that. Oh my goodness. So the Galactic Federation, the dark side of the Galactic Federation, has been highly suppressing my channel. Clearly, Jay has been able to get somehow. I don't know who he had to dink to get his blue check mark, but all of a sudden Jay's got a blue check mark. His channel's allowed to grow. So it is what it is. It is what it is.
Fight an uphill battle when you're fighting against the Draconians, right?
Well, it's a whole federation, bro. You have the Alpha Draconians. The other
blue
bad one.
the blue avians. Don't forget the blue.
No,
avians.
those are cool.
Oh.
Those are good.
They're the
Dude,
good
you don't
guys.
know anything, bro. You need to do more shadow work. Anyway, like, all right,
Okay.
before next week, Jay better do some shadow work because I've been doing a lot. My ego has gotten really, really small, and his,
Yes.
I can see it's getting bigger.
Grant,
So anyways,
Grant T. Sheffy, $1 says, Jay, all the best from England. I followed you the last few years. Can you shout out to my resistance-themed ice cream van, the Wallow Cum? Ice Wallow Cum. Ha ha ha, really good one. I feel like I said something gross, but I don't really get it. Grant Chase Haggard, $1. Tristan, is there any chance that you will acknowledge the family's multiple checks that were sent to you? If not, it's okay. We support what you're doing. I guess
again, man, Chase, that's my brother Chase. Look, dude, use coupon code Big53Life, and you can get 53% off all subscriptions for life. And also, you know where to super chat me. That's how we can talk. You need to do more shadow work.
Dude is still pay
you and
Piggy
me.
and his family for Christmas. That's crazy. That's buck wild, dude.
I mean, it's just getting old. Like, do you see how he gaslights me and how? I mean, it's toxic. It's toxic, and he's gaslighting me with his toxicity. There's toxic gases from his gaslighting orifice, which I call it. That's his face, his mouth.
Flex Luther Fitness, $3. Did you see Kenneth Copeland doing blood sacrifices with his lackey? I didn't see that, but I'm not surprised.
No, that's the old one. Remember, you've
That's
seen
old.
it. You have to have seen it. It's like a few years ago. He did a fake communion thing, and he like pretended to cut
Oh,
it.
that I've seen that.
It's got to be that.
Word. Thank you so much for coming on, Tristan. Appreciate it. Anything else you want to leave us with next week?
No, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
A lot of
I
fun.
feel like when I started this, I had some mental health, but then I totally destroyed you in the rap battle, like just off the freaking dome. And I feel so good. I feel so much. My mental health is gone now. It's totally gone.
I hope somebody recorded that and then they set that to some hype beats because look, I've got like 10 hits, 10 tracks that came out. Tristan hasn't had any. So
I remember something like, he was a skater boy. She said she later boy. Like, that's so sick.
That is pretty sick. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being in the chat. Remember to head on over to our other sponsor, who is our friends over at Rockfin, Richard Grove at Grand Theft World. Subscribe to Grand Theft World and myself and Tristan on Rockfin. We're all over on Rockfin. A lot of great content, as well as Jamie too. Sam Tripoli's over there. Isaac Weishaupt. I just did a crazy stream last night with Eddie Bravo. You know how crazy Eddie Bravo is. Dude was going wild last night, just going nuts, asking me the craziest shit ever, and half of it I'm like, I don't even know, right? So that's all gonna drop over on Rockfin, but you got to be not on that. You got to go over here to Rockfin and subscribe. If you subscribe to the premium Rockfin, you get access to everybody, including all of those Eddie Bravo interviews, 2 that we've done, and that link is right here. So be sure and subscribe on Rockfin. Great free speech content, and subscribe to Richard Grove as well. And then